this discussion. The closer our economy gets to the fiscal.
John Boehner is speaking right now. This is a live video. This is another update.
Good morning. The President has said on a daily basis that we should be passing a balanced plan. But what we hear from the President is continuing only discussion on one side of the ledger. It has always been about tax rate increases and nothing about spending. And we insist to say, look, Mr. President, let's talk about a balanced plan, but where are your specifics on the spending cuts? Even his own advisors say that any kind of agreement that we come to has to deal with the prime drivers of our deficit, which is the spending and particularly the health care entitlement programs. So we asked the President to please sit down with us and be specific, and let's get that balanced plan. You know, it's interesting that the Senate has passed a bill that is a bill calling for increased revenues of $850 billion. The President continues to say, support that bill, pass that bill. Well, how is that the case when he continues to say we also need $1.4 trillion in additional new revenues? So there's an inconsistency here, and let's stop playing games. We want to be here for the American people, and we want to make sure that we get a balanced solution so that we can start focusing on the one thing that we have seemed to have forgotten, and that is it's about jobs and the economy. It's about getting people back to work, making sure their life works again, and to finally get us back into the mode of a growing economy. The President seems to be walking us ever so slowly towards the cliff. We've said we're committed to staying here. We're going to stay here right up until Christmas Eve, throughout the time and period before the new year, because we want to make sure that we resolve this in an acceptable way for the American people.
As the debate continues over the fiscal
All right, that's House Majority Leader Eric Cantor. You heard the Speaker earlier suggesting now that if you're in Congress and looking for a vacation.
Basically, that was an update that we had on the fiscal cliff. Mr. Boehner came out there. The other gentleman came out there. Once again, what I will tell people about this fiscal cliff is that it is the month of December when stocks should be going higher, and they have for the past 5 days. And no matter what happens, higher taxes and lower spending is not good for equities, stocks, because you're not going to be able to grow. And that means that there's going to be a lot lower growth rate depending on what they do. But irrespectively, it's about them trying to get these markets as high as they can. And the other side of the put market, on the put side, I mean, here the S&P is up here at 1430. And here you can see the Dow at 26. You can see here how the Googles are selling into it. $10 reversal off the high. You can see today that Google has a high of 700 and coming down in the channel with the 6.59 range. But let's get back to what they just said. I'm telling people that you will sell off once there is a deal. I'll be doing that in a different live video. I will be telling you that walking the markets higher and anticipation. Look, there has not been a deal, and the market is very complacent. There is a lot of risk that will come into play. I'm telling people that the month of January, even if they do come out with a deal, look, it's not going to be good for equities because higher taxes and lower spending doesn't bode well. And it'll be about the fact that once this little hyper thing that we've been going through with all of these announcements and all of the fiscal clip, and we've been covering it. Look, they bid these equities up to sell them. There is no deal yet. They say they're going to keep working it on the Republican side, but who is going to give? We have a president who doesn't give, even by his own advisors is saying this doesn't work, but he's still very bullheaded and stubborn about taxing our way out. Once again, the European model never worked. And the thing about it is that the put side of the market is very, 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 very cheap. And that means that on the S&P 500, and I will be doing individual live trades on how to get this put option, the 1430. Doesn't have a lot of range, but 975 of these have been bought. And this is right at the strike price on a 1222 1430 put on the S&P. Yes, they're trying to walk those S&P 500 up to that 1350. We got to my 1430. And the thing about it is there's going to be lots of controversy. That was what they had to say. And what we have to say here at SMF is that doesn't matter when they get that deal. It will be a deal that the entitlements, the spending cuts have to be in there or they're not going to get a deal. And they all agreed to that. So once they do get the deal, once they do get the higher taxes and lower spending, and let us not forget there's 1 million small businesses, and here's the gimmick on what they do. The gimmick is this: 1 million small businesses that make over $250,000 a year above, they're going to be taxed. And those are the job creators, at least 70% of the job creators in this country. Let us not forget that.